Supply and demand, a simple market concept that can be used as the foundation behind a highly profitable trading strategy. But like most trading concepts, a lot of people get it wrong. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how you can master supply and demand trading so that you can start building out a winning system. So stick around and I'll give you everything you're going to need. What is supply and demand? It's a concept that allows us to determine areas of strong buying or selling using zones. This is a supply zone and this is a demand zone. Supply and demand zones show prices that large buyers or sellers were happy to pay for an asset. It's seen as a consolidation or piece of sideways price action before a big up or down move. And what it's showing is an area where the buyers or sellers collected orders before actually releasing those orders to the market, which is where the big high momentum move kicks in. Here's a simple supply and demand equation. When demand is up, supply is down. And when demand is down, supply is up. High demand leads to rising prices, and high supply leads to falling prices. Why? Because the market is an auction. If a lot of people are willing to bid at the current price for an asset, people will ask more for the purchase. If everyone wants what you have, however, you can ask for more in return. When demand is low, there are a lot of units readily available to be sold to the market, but not enough buyers willing to pay a premium price. So the market has to fall into place to meet the buyer's demands. When we can successfully mark up zones and understand what they're telling us, we can get some really great entries for our positions, leading to high risk reward and high accuracy trades. So how do we mark up supply and demand zones on our charts? Marking supply and demand is very important. If you mark it incorrectly, you'll mess up your entire strategy from the beginning. But if you do it right, you'll be able to get sniper entries like this, and this. Now there's a commonly known way to mark supply and demand. Most people use the last down candle before the up move, like this, and the last up candle before the down move, like this. Now this works fine and is a good general rule, but personally I do it a little bit differently. I mark supply and demand based on the last candle before the impulse, aka the last candle before the big move up or down. This makes more sense to me from a logical perspective because I'm actually looking at the direct area where the massive buying or selling came from. Also, most of the time, it gives me more refined entries so I can get in with smaller stop losses to maximize my reward on each trade. And one more note, the supply or demand zone always has to be imbalanced. If it doesn't have an imbalance leading into it, it's not a zone I'm interested in trading at all. It's important that you always trade with the trend. If you don't understand trends, watch this video, it's on market structure, that's going to explain everything to you. There's a card somewhere in the top corner of this video. When you go to your charts, you'll realize there's seemingly supply and demand zones everywhere. And much like all other market concepts, if you can't define which zones matter and which ones don't, you'll soon be left with a chart clouded with random boxes that you can't make sense of. And this will do more harm than good. A very simple but very important rule is to always trade supply or demand with the trend. Supply is selling and demand is buying. This simple tip will eradicate half of the zones and streamlines our focus onto the zones that matter. And sometimes when you're moving with the trend, there are going to be multiple zones to pick from. But fortunately for you, I have another video which goes in depth on this topic. Once again, there's a card somewhere on the screen for you to go and watch that. So now let's take a look at the benefits of supply and demand trading. Benefit number 1, simplify your trading. Supply and demand simplifies the way you trade. If you start to use supply and demand for all your entries, you'll be able to cut out a lot of other confusing concepts and streamline your focus to only buying or selling from these areas. It's a very easy way to execute trades and it makes a lot of sense from a logical point of view. Once you know how to accurately mark zones, it becomes a very easy concept to follow. Be warned though, you do still need other concepts or you will go insane. I find market structure, imbalances and liquidity paired with supply and demand to be an awesome combo. You can find lessons on all of these topics on my YouTube channel. Benefit number 2. Get higher trade accuracy. While supply and demand zones will sometimes fail, as with every other concept in a probability-based market, the entries that you do get on the trades that work out will be highly accurate. Markets react to supply and demand more than almost anything else. So if you place orders in supply or demand zones, you can really get some sniper entries with smaller stop losses and bigger take profits. This added accuracy makes up for the losses that you do take by giving you a brilliant ROI on the trades that work out. And benefit number 3, supply and demand works in all markets on all timeframes. Supply and demand as a concept is ingrained into the way that the market works. It revolves around the auction that's happening in every market every day. And for this reason, you can jump into absolutely any market. Forex, indices, stocks, cryptocurrencies, or commodities. And you'll be able to apply the theory and methods of supply and demand trading successfully. And it's also applicable to every time frame. You'll be able to see supply and demand working its magic on the 1-minute time frames, the 1 hour timeframes, and even the 1 day or 1 week timeframes too. This is awesome for 2 reasons. Number 1, whether you want to day trade or swing trade, you can, because it's going to work on every time frame. And number 2, if you ever want to shift from day trading to swing trading or vice versa, you can. Supply and demand makes you a flexible, versatile, and adaptable trader, which is great for the ever-changing and ever harder to trade markets of the modern day. And if you like today's video, check out my free course to learn more about the concept of supply and demand, along with 9 other lessons that will transform your trading. That's all from me. I'll see you in the next video.